Okay, welcome back to the United Pubcast. For a weird podcast, or not a weird podcast, but something a little bit off the cuff and something a little bit different, not talking transfers. I'm sure that'll come up in the discussion. But we'll be looking sort of at the sort of events unfolding outside Old Trafford. So I've got Twitter open. We'll keep scrolling through Twitter as we go. Now, Larry could be joining us. Larry just got held up with a bit of a meeting at work. So unless he's on a flight to Manchester to protest himself, but he could be joining us. But if anyone else, maybe one of the regulars do want to sort of jump on and have their say, I can shoot you the link. Just feel free, message me in YouTube and I can shoot you the link through Facebook or Twitter or whatever. But hopefully you can join us because I think this is an interesting chat to have in and around the release of this new kit and this protest organised by the 1958 group. Many different talking points to it, but I'll say good day to a few people in the live chat. I appreciate everyone waiting and taking their time. But SS1, good to see you. When's it starting? Hopefully you're still with us, mate. Apologies for the delay. But George, good to see you as well, mate. Lisa, good to see you. My 18-year-old son flew over yesterday from Ireland just for this. He's a die-hard United fan. For the new kit or for the protest? I think that's the interesting discussion to have in and around this at the moment. It is a good kit, which we'll get into discussing. We'll bring that up in a little bit, but also the protest is just as, if not 10 times more important. And we'll discuss my thoughts because I've got one or two interesting. I believe my opinion is right. I think everyone believes their opinion is right, but beliefs around this protest and ways that potentially could have been better focused, in my opinion. But we'll get into that when we discuss all that. Dion likes the kit. Just wish the sponsor's logo wasn't so large. Yeah, I don't like the two rows. I thought like last season or last two seasons, just one row of team viewer would suffice, but they have gone to it. That looks a bit better than what the initial leaks were. I think it's not as big as when the leaks did come out a month or two ago. So happy with that. And I actually like the kit. I'm not one to go out and buy it, but my internet is a little bit choppy. So hopefully Larry can jump on and save us. I'm not one to go out and buy the new kits. I used to buy the kits. And it's not a Glazers out thing or a money thing. It's just I haven't really liked too many of the kits recently. I really liked last season's away kit. I thought that was a good one, but I just really never got around to sort of purchasing one of the new kits. I do just like some more of the retro stuff, but we'll get into the purchase of the kits and everything. I haven't looked at the prices because I said I don't buy them, but I'm hearing a lot of tweets and a lot of people with messages saying it's an absolute rip-off in regards to the price. So do get all your thoughts in on the kit, one, the actual plain side of it in terms of what you like the look of it, etc., but also the ramifications in regards to this protest and not buying the kit and what message that sends to Adidas and the Glazers. But Rob here, haven't seen anything from the protest. Yeah, let us know in regards to, I do have Twitter open, but I'll obviously be talking to you guys and sort of scrolling through YouTube as well, or scrolling through the comments. So if anything is breaking on Twitter, send it my way and we discuss it, whether images. The 1958 group they put out on their Twitter yesterday that the protest was scheduled to start at 9:45 UK time. So we're looking at there. That's in about 9 minutes' time. So again, when does a protest start? Who knows? That'll be interesting. But where the numbers are there at the moment, I'm not sure. But keep them flooding in. If any sort of good images or videos do sort of start to filter through on social media, we'll bring them up here and we'll discuss them. Adam, good to see you. New authentic kit. Is up $40 online. That's one of the main reasons I don't buy the new kit. Of course, it's a Glazers out decision as well, but I'm a hypocrite because I have MUTV or I'm a member sort of thing, or if I'm at Old Trafford, I buy a ticket sort of thing. So we're all hypocrites in regards to our purchase, in regards to a Glazers out message. The huge one in regards to a kit for me is the price. They're just way overpriced, in my opinion. I can get a fake one from China for $10 and they look just as good. Might not last as long, but look just as good. Yeah, $200. Al here, good to see you, mate. Don't buy the kit, don't support the Glazers. Look, I do support that message. Of course, however, I don't have an issue with anyone buying the kit because, quite frankly, it doesn't have an impact. Whether you buy the kit or don't buy the kit, maybe 5-10 years down the track, it could potentially have an impact. Me personally, someone going to a game at Old Trafford buying a ticket is the same as putting money in Adidas's bank account. So I support the message. I don't go out and buy the kit, but I'm not going to stand in anyone's way or criticise anyone for buying it. As I said, I think it's a decent looking kit. And it is part of Manchester, the sort of fan culture in regards to buying a kit. Like here we are from 2004, still wearing a kit. It is part of supporting Manchester United in terms of buying the kit. So definitely not going to sort of criticise anyone for it. But yeah, as I said, my main issue is the price. Dion here saying, yeah, I need a third job to afford it. It's I think there should be a law. I know the law used to be a thing where you used to have, it was a law you had to have the kit for 2 seasons. before you could change it. And then even then, like an away kit would become your third kit, or your third kit would become your away kit. And you would have to sort of recycle those kits every 2 years. But now you get 3 kits a season. And like, I don't buy the training gear, but I know a lot of people who do buy the training gear, and you get 5 or 6 training kits a season. And I'm just thinking, if you're a parent and you've got a young kid who wants you're not going to say no. Like, some people would be strong enough to, but it'd be very hard to say no. I want the third kit. I want the away kit. No, I want the home one in the long sleeve. I want the away one with the Champions League badges. I want the green one with the Carling Cup badges. All these things, and that is how they get the money. And I do think that now it'll never be passed because money talks at the end of the day. But I do think there should be a rule in place, whether it be put in by the clubs themselves or by the UK government or FIFA, whoever steps in and says no, kits need to, even just one kit, maybe the home kit or the away kit, etc. It needs to be in place for 2 seasons. You can't bring out a new home kit because it is criminal. As I said, the price tags there, people are saying is just it's criminal. And what are we doing? We're spending the money on it, and so it's never going to change because we are spending money on it. But I do believe that should be a thing. But as I said, if you are scrolling through Twitter, send anything my way of any developments. As I said, the protest is sort of scheduled to start in 5 minutes. If anyone does have any footage or sort of rumours about what is happening at Old Trafford, is it busy? Is it not busy? Is the Megastore open? I have a feeling in terms of, look, I'm not part of the 1958. My gut feel in terms of the motive behind this, or not the motive, but the goal of this protest is to probably shut down the Megastore. Now, I'm not sure if the Manchester United security are on top of that and sort of well prepared to stop that happening, or that they have closed. I'm not sure. So do let us know what it is like on the ground at the Megastore if you are there, or do have an insight into it. But Adam here, apparently United gets 7%. Yeah, look, Manchester United get nothing from the jersey, so obviously 7%, nothing. But in the grand scheme of things, obviously the Adidas kit is 75 million a season. Adidas do pay Manchester United, so all our money does go to Adidas. But obviously, if they can sort of provide a good record of sales, that does benefit Manchester United for their future deal. So it is interesting, but it's all sort of combined. Of course, it is. But also agreeing with me, I think, in regards to that law, in regards to making home kits be standard for 2 seasons rather than chopping and changing. But it is interesting. So, again, my fingers crossed Larry can join us, but just my thoughts on the protest before we bring up any sort of images that might be coming through from outside the Megastore. I'm fully supportive of this protest. I'm fully supportive of the 1950. I have had 1 or 2 sort of not disagreements, but sort of different views to the 1958 over the last year or so. But I think on the whole, they've done very good, and I support their message like any Manchester United fan does. Of course, this protest for me, though, and again, I haven't seen the images yet. Hopefully they start to filter through. I haven't seen any, in regards to this protest, not on a match day, off-season, so that there's no games, that the Sky Sports cameras aren't there, BBC aren't there, etc. in terms of the match day cameras. It's not going to have the same influence as sort of when Manchester United sort of got the game called off against Liverpool, or sort of other Glazers out protests when you got all the match-on fans walking down Sir Matt Busby Way. This won't have that impact, of course, and that's not to criticise anyone in regards to the protest. It's just the situation that today finds itself in. It's a Tuesday morning in the UK. Obviously, there's no game on a Tuesday morning, so you are going to be limited by the numbers you can get there. People are going to be at work, people are going to be at school, etc. My issue with the timing of this protest, as I said, I fully support the protest, the right to protest, and the message behind it, of course. But this simply just won't achieve this protest, or whatever it does, whether it's in good numbers or bad numbers, we'll see in a little bit. It simply won't achieve anything, and that is where I'm thinking this protest, unfortunately, while I'm supportive of the message, can only create a divide in regards to the only people who will annoy. Let's say there's a parent down there with his kid, or a couple of school kids are down there, a couple of parents, and the Megastore gets shut, and a kid misses out on his kit. Now, we're all supportive of the message, don't buy the kit, and that's good for Manchester United in regards to our ultimate goal of removing the Glazers. But the Glazers aren't going to be making a decision, oh, gee, did you see those? Adidas sales were down 10% today. Maybe we might sell the club. They're simply not going to care about this protest. And I think I'm fully supportive, as I said, of the protest, but I just believe it is only just going to potentially annoy people. It's not going to... The Glazers and Qatar, or even Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Qatar, aren't looking at this and saying, oh, geez, look at their passion here. Let's all up 10 billion or 1 billion onto my bid to get over the line. Nothing we do today as a fan base outside Old Trafford at the Megastore is going to influence the decision of 3 billionaires in regards to the Glazers, Qatar and Sir Jim. I just think the only potential it can, obviously it's good to sort of keep that message public and a visible message, of course. So, and I'm fully supportive of it. But I can only see potential divide to happening today if one or two sort of idiots go too far on the ground and sort of prevent a kid buying a kit or something like that. So as I said, I'm fully supportive of it, but I just think it's not going to achieve anything today, unfortunately. But here I am talking about it, and here we are talking about it. So maybe it is achieving what we do need. So do let me know your thoughts in and around the protest. Do you agree with the timing of this one? Do you think it has an impact? Maybe you do think it has an impact. I believe it doesn't. And that's not to say we shouldn't be doing it and the protest isn't wrong. And you know what I mean? It's a tricky one. But I'll go through one or two other comments and then I'll scroll through Twitter and we'll see where we are. And there's also other news in regards to Manchester United. Well, not in regards to Manchester United. We're not signing anyone by the sounds of things. But there is sort of news around sort of Declan Rice, etc., in regards to that Manchester City have had their bid rejected. Not that impacts Manchester United, but who knows, maybe in a merry-go-round way, it potentially does. But there are a few in the chat. So if you are Glazers out, please do leave a like on the video. If you do like the kit, which I do like the kit, to be fair, it's not a bad kit, do leave a like as well. But down here, just back to the kit, some notable absentees from the promos. I haven't seen that. As I said, I've seen the images. I've seen Lisandro Martinez, Rashford, Casemiro, and Bruno. They're the notable names I would see, Dion. So do let me know who's missed out. Maybe David De Gea. Actually, I did see one with the female keeper, Mary Earp, so I didn't see one with David De Gea. Maybe that's telling. But I think I'm not sure, do we read too much into that as fans every season? It always seems at Real Madrid. This player's missed out on the Real Madrid kit launch, he's off. And I just think we always sort of read a little bit too much into it, and then that player's suddenly, they're still playing for them in August. But maybe there is something in that, especially around a marketing club like Manchester United. But I'll scroll through Twitter and a little bit and see if there is anything happening. As I said, if there is, tag me on Twitter and I'll see, and I'll bring it up. But I'll actually bring up the kit if I can find it. Do I still follow Man United? I should follow Man United, I'm pretty sure. At Man United, and we'll bring up the kit to see what it does look like. For anyone who hasn't seen it yet, just bring it up here. So I'm not a huge fan of the two rows. I thought you could have done Team Viewer like last season in regards to just one line. I think it does take up a little bit too much space, and maybe, look, if I'm being critical, and I'm not a interior designer or anything, but I would have been maybe have a little bit of more of a gap between our logos and the sponsor, but it is what it is. And one thing I'm not a fan of is not having Adidas written there. I think you should have Adidas written under the Adidas logo, but that's me nitpicking. My personal preference is white stripes for the Adidas, or over the sleeves, over the shoulders and sleeves. But again, I'm not going to lose any sleep over a few black stripes there. Fingers crossed that I'm assuming it's white shorts. It bloody better be white shorts. It shouldn't be like that FA Cup final where we're wearing black shorts against Manchester City. Oh, down here. Obviously, I haven't seen that. That is maybe telling, because you would think potentially in regards to a Harry Maguire situation, it would simply come down to potentially, especially a captain, that would be potentially contractually obliged to sort of be involved in sort of these promotional sort of things. So I'm having Harry Maguire. That is usually I'd sort of laugh those off. Those sort of he wasn't in the photo shoot. Actually, the captain of Manchester United, that maybe is telling now. Is Manchester United going to be able to offload him? Who knows? Or maybe he's saved for the away kit. Anthony, good to see you, mate. Away kit. I haven't heard anything about the away kit. But Adam here from Man Cave United. If you haven't subscribed to Man Cave United, just give it a quick YouTube search. Make sure to go over and subscribe to Adam and the guys on Man Cave United. But the away kit, obviously, we remember from Australia here this time last year, was released on the tour. And what are your thoughts on the away kit? Because it hasn't been released, but I think we've all seen it. In regards to it's a green number. A lot of people think it was a black kit, but it is green. A lot of people hate it, and I fully understand their need or their desire, or not desire, but their view of hating it. I fully understand it. I actually really like the kit. I just don't like it as a Manchester United kit. But if it was some like random Brazilian club or Argentinian or Spanish club, I think you'd really like the kit. In regards to it's got a nice sort of stripe pattern. I don't mind the colour. Just does it say Manchester United? Probably it doesn't say Manchester United. So it's just. Yeah, it's one of those. I really like the kit, but as a Man United one, I think maybe not. But it's one of those. If someone scores a last-minute winner at Anfield, winning it becomes a classic kit. If you get beat 7-0 there, you want to throw it in the bin and get rid of it. So it's one of those things. The third kit is my issue. The third kit as well, and the third kit should be very simple and should actually be quite well received amongst Manchester United fans. It's plain white with a bit of red. It's just because Liverpool had the identical kit, 4 or 5 years ago, sort of thing, and just fresh in our mind. I don't know why we remember that Liverpool kit, but it's simply so reminiscent of it. And I think we just do remember of Manchester United and that Liverpool kit. And the third one, it's actually quite simple and quite nice. But I think, unanimously amongst the fan base, we all hate it. And it's funny that, because I think it's actually a decent looking kit, but anything that reminds you of Liverpool obviously stirs some emotion with Manchester United fans. And what about the protest? Has it started? I need you guys to help me through Twitter in regards. I'm scrolling through, and I haven't seen too much. So tag me in if you do follow me on Twitter at TomMUFC8. Tag me in it. Any images, and I can bring them up on screen for everyone to have a look at and a chat. But I'm just sort of following the Glazers out hashtag, and I'm seeing nothing. So, but again, this was a little bit of my fear behind the protest in regards to. Okay, here we are. It's a Tuesday night here in Sydney. Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock. Or at 9:45 on a Tuesday morning in Manchester. How many people can really get there? And that's not to criticise anyone not being there. If they're at work or at school, you obviously can't be there. So it's definitely not a criticism. But in regards to maximising the exposure and sort of really getting a visible presence and a message out there, are you going to do that on a Tuesday morning? Now, I fully understand, okay, Manchester United aren't going to release the kit on a Saturday afternoon for everyone. They're going to release it in the morning on a weekday. But it's just one of my, again, not a criticism of the protest, but just it could have been a little bit, we could have done it at a different time, different day, different situation. I understand in terms of this one maybe a more, I don't know how you can do an online protest these days, the hashtags, I'm not sure, but this would have been a far sort of bigger hit to Adidas if something happened to the website or something, not the Megastore, because think of how many people are going to buy a Manchester United kit today around the world. You would say probably less than 0.01% are actually buying it at the Megastore. 99.9% of sales are online around the world. I'm just thinking that's what Adidas are looking at. That's what the Glazers are looking at. They're not looking at what's happened at Old Trafford today. That's the smallest percentage of their sales. So I just look at the protest again today. As I said, I'm going to harp on about I'm fully supportive of it. It just doesn't make sense to me today. I think it can only annoy a few kids who are maybe going to miss out on a shirt if the protest potentially sort of got the Megastore closed. But in saying that, I haven't seen anything about the protest online. So I'll go on to the 1958 Twitter page, see if they have brought anything up. 1958. But until then, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'll bring their page up here in regards to the 1958. Anyone doesn't follow them on Twitter, I definitely urge you to, because obviously it's a huge part of Manchester United at the moment in regards to this message. They're saying, yes, so the last tweet was yesterday, 14 hours ago, tomorrow at the Megastore, 9:45 a.m. The club selected this date. If you can be there, be there. If you can't, share any pictures or footage online, which I'm waiting for people to do, but I'm not getting it at the moment. Everyone has a part to play in this battle against the Glazers, for you, for us, for each other, the 1958. So, I'll keep scrolling through, but nothing as of yet. But if there is any other talking points, there are a few in the chat. Get them in, and we'll have a bit of a chat. Unfortunately, Larry's not with me. I think he is travelling home from work. If you can pull over the side of the road, maybe he can join us for a few minutes. But my main talking point today, football-wise, and whether this is impacting on Manchester United, I'm not sure. But Declan Rice and Manchester City, in regards to Manchester City, have had a bid rejected by West Ham for the services of Declan Rice. And again, it's around 80 million and potentially 10 or 15 million added. I'm not quite sure what the specific number was. My only question in and around this, now Declan Rice has got to move. He's got to move to Arsenal or West Ham, of course. Take your flip of a coin. My hunch says Arsenal, but then if City are involved and City want him, Declan Rice would be stupid not to take the offer at Manchester City. I just have a feeling, almost like Mason Mount. Now, I think Manchester United will go in for Mason Mount. I don't think this is a stumbling block in regards to 5 or 10 million. I think Manchester United will get that deal done. But a similar situation in regards to a threat of walking away from Declan Rice, whether that be Arsenal or Man City. There's a definite sort of field there for a threat to walk away. And I just think if West Ham price him out of a move and Arsenal say, stuff this, we'll go for Caicedo for 80 million. Or Lavia here, okay, Manchester City, if they go back in for Lavia, was he at Manchester City or was he at Chelsea as a youngster? I think he was at Manchester City as a youngster. If Manchester City say, stuff this for 80 million for Declan Rice, stuff will go get Lavia for 35 million. I'm just thinking, could you imagine a situation West Ham have put themselves in if both clubs walk away? Now, one of the clubs won't walk away. I'm positive one of the clubs will eventually get Declan Rice over the line. But there is a situation, I'd say Manchester United's threat to walk away from Mason Mount was real. Let's put it on the other foot in regards to Declan Rice, City and Arsenal. If they both walk away, Suddenly West Ham have £100 million. Now, I don't think he's worth £100 million player, but in their eyes, they do have £100 million player who doesn't want to be there, who they've confirmed won't play for West Ham again. They've confirmed they're selling him. But if simply the other clubs walk away and go find maybe the same quality target at a lesser price, what position that puts West Ham in? Because I think West Ham are in. I can understand the need and the desire to be selling him for $100 million, but I think that's more just good PR. Like, if someone's going to give you $80 million for Declan Rice, take it. I understand $100 million sounds good because that's what Jack Grealish went for. $100 million, it obviously sounds very impressive. Is he worth that? Like, you might as well take 80. Like, the risk of having sort of 80 million taken away from you, like, so it's on the table there, then Manchester City or Arsenal bring it back. I just think that's a huge risk. Now, I do think they'll obviously get it over the line, and one of the clubs will stump up the cash for West Ham. But I'd just like to see, because I'm not a huge fan of West Ham. If anyone does tune into the podcast regularly will know that, and I'd kind of love to see it. Now, would I welcome Declan Rice at Manchester United? Probably. I've never been the biggest fan of him, but he's obviously a good player and improved a lot since the first time I did watch him play. So, of course, I would welcome him to Old Trafford, not for $100 million, though. But again, that's what the going rate is at the moment. We're sort of haggling over around $60 million for Mason Mount. So if you want Declan Rice, maybe you are going to have to pay. But if there is anything else, I'll quickly do a quick search of the Glazers Out hashtag again. But I simply have not seen anything in regards to one image. Glazers Out now is trending. I'll see what's there. I have not seen anything in regards to the protest outside Old Trafford and the Megastore. So if you do have any info, let us know, because I was keen to see, because I remember we've done a few of these streams during sort of pre-match build-ups over the last couple of months when there has been organised protests down Sir Matt Busby Way, and sort of we've been live and sort of watching the images come through. We'll put them on the screen. We'll discuss them with everyone. This one just seems quiet. I'm seeing nothing. So it's a little bit of a shame. I'll just bring this image here just because I like it. I've just seen it scrolling through. But wasn't this a good image back in the day in the 09-10 season? I think this is an image I always use in regards to when a rival fan says you're only Glazers out when you lose, or you're only Glazers out during a transfer winning season. You go back to this match against Milan. We obviously beat Milan 4-0. And look at the height of the protest. We were the European champions, we were world champions, we were Premier League champions. The whole stadium was green and gold. So I think that's sort of an image I always point back to when rivals say, oh, you're only Glazers out now because you're losing or you're upset, when we're the best team in the world. Well, Premier League, as I said, Premier League, European and world champions at the time of this match was happening against AC Milan. It was Glazers out. That was in the midst of our most successful ever period as a club. It was 100% Glazers out. So if anyone does sort of get on your nerves as a rival fan discussing Glazers out, take them back to 2009, 2010 against AC Milan. And look at that. We'll beat AC Milan 4-0 and we weren't happy. I just think that goes to show that shows the message of what we did feel at the time and still do feel, and rightly so. Charlie, I'm good to see nothing here in the UK from Old Trafford on the protest. Yeah, it's a weird one, but as I said, it almost goes back to my initial point. I just didn't see an upside in this protest. I didn't see how it would work. And again, that's the furthest thing from a criticism. I just did not see it. But anything else scrolling through? I don't believe this photo is from today. That looks like it's definitely on a match day, but who knows? But I think I have seen that photo before. But that is on the Glazers Out hashtag. Yeah, nothing there. So we might start to wrap it up there, but maybe one or two other talking points. If there's any other Manchester United news, throw it in the comments below, and I'll give my sort of 2 cents on it. But there are a few, as I said, in the chat, so please do leave a like on the video. They'd be very much appreciated. But around the grounds, what other news is there in regards to? We've discussed the kit. We've discussed Declan Rice in regards to Arsenal and Manchester City. The name popping up yesterday was Frankie de Jong. Honestly, like, your thoughts on Frankie de Jong? Because as a player, he's almost the first name on my team. I'd love him to come through. We've done this dance before, and I just don't see it. I don't even see where the story came from. I assume it comes from some Spanish outlet, and I haven't even read it, but I can assume it's along the lines of Barcelona need to juggle their books and sort of being able to register players. I'm sure that's sort of the root of the story. They do this dance every year, then they can't register a player. They sell one player, then they register them again. It's a never-ending circle with Barcelona. So I don't see anything in the Frankie de Jong rumours. Last year, you thought there was a potential chance it was happening. I thought there was maybe a period throughout pre-season it was definitely on. We thought, yeah, I can only see Frankie de Jong signing. That quickly faded, and obviously the rest is history. But This one, there's simply no chance. Like, you can see Mason Mount happening. You can even see Harry Kane happening. You can see that eventuating. You don't see a situation, or in my personal opinion, I don't see a situation where I see Frankie de Jong in a red shirt in 2 months' time. I just don't see how that unfolds. Unless a financial crisis hits Barcelona and Frankie de Jong throws his toys out of the pram, I don't see. And then you look at it, Frankie de Jong was available. Now, obviously, he has a relationship with Erik ten Hag, but that's where I look at the potential threat of Manchester City walking away from a Declan Rice fee. You think, if Declan Rice is going to cost you $100 million, if Frankie de Jong was available, why isn't Pep Guardiola going after him and get him for, say, 80 or 90 million? You'd be straight out of that Declan Rice deal, because obviously Frankie de Jong is on a completely different level. So the fear of, if Frankie de Jong was available, you always have to unfortunately ask the question in and around our situation, why would he come to Manchester United? Now, obviously, we know the answer of why he should come to Manchester United. We're the best club in the world. Obviously, he's got a great sort of manager in Erik ten Hag, and sort of he can sort of provide that missing piece of the jigsaw, obviously. But from his point of view, he can walk into the best team in the world if they wanted him. So the Frankie de Jong rumours, I see absolutely nothing in it. The latest talk of Rasmus Højlund, the young kid from Atalanta, there's obviously something there. There's obviously an interest from Manchester United. I'm sure there's an interest from a lot of clubs. I think, like a lot of people, you definitely welcome him, but he's a player you have to welcome with another sign. Højlund, as good as he might be, I think I was talking to Rob earlier, I think he scored 8 goals this season. Like 8 goals. And for his age, that's good in Serie A. He's obviously performed well. He's playing for Denmark as well. We signed an Atalanta have put a price tag of around 80 million for him for 8 goals. 8 goals. That's what Mudryk did. And I just don't see a situation where we're successful next season if Højlund's our number one striker. Now, that he might come in and be a future Manchester United great in years to come. But next season, in regards to success, that's not going to happen with Højlund, your main man. I think you definitely welcome him into the squad, and he can have a very good season as a backup or as a second fiddle to a Harry Kane, to a Osman, whoever. So the Højlund one is very interesting, because I can see that happening. We just need more than that happening. But at the moment, absolutely nothing is happening. So who knows how it'll unfold. But Adam here, I've really been frustrated at all this crap going on over the summer. I've tried to avoid talking about it. It's like a stranglehold you just can't get out of. I need a holiday away from United. Look, we're all the same, but here we all are talking about it. We can't help it. We're idiots. I know you, Adam. You agree with me. What are we going to do? We live and breathe this. That's all we do. We're going to be here tomorrow moaning about it. We say, no, I need to get away from it. What am I going to do tomorrow morning when I wake up? I'm going to scroll through Twitter. Do we sign anyone? Are we linked to anyone? It's the life of a Manchester United fan. It is what it is. Dion here. Part of City's strategy is deliberately overpaying for players from their Premier League compatriots. I'd love to sort of get the sort of insights and sort of knowledge of, obviously I'm not going to, but a director of football or a club sort of recruitment team in and around sort of leaking stuff to the press in regards to some bids and sort of why they put this story out, why they're bidding for this player, when they're bidding for this player. If they see a rival in, would it ever be a real... We looked at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United when the rumours were Ronaldo was going to sign for Manchester City. Did we sign Ronaldo because we wanted Ronaldo, or was the sole decision to stop him going to Manchester City? Now, it might have been a little bit of both, but where that sort of weight sort of was balanced in regards to would clubs, the size of clubs like us, truly sign for the sole reason of stopping another club gaining that player? I'm sure it does happen at times, but I'm also thinking I'm sure that doesn't happen. I think it's interesting here. Dion, he's the forgotten signing last year, but I laugh at that signing and sort of criticise it for as much as I can. He sits back with 3 trophies and a treble. So I agree, but a crazy price for Calvin Phillips. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him, because he's surely got to go. But they've lost a few players in regards to Gundogan, Bernardo Silva as well, or potentially Bernardo Silva. But they brought in Kovacic, and you would think potentially Declan Rice as well. So Calvin Phillips is interesting. The rumours out of City that he does look like he wants to stay. I wouldn't be shocked if, obviously, Leeds can't come back into him, unfortunately. It'd be good to see him go back to down to the Championship with his man bun. But I'm not sure what else is happening in regards to the Manchester United front, in regards to transfer news. Mason Mount, not a betting man. I have no inside knowledge. Of course, here I am on the other side of the world. My gut says we'll sign Mason Mount. And now, obviously, the financials, now the new kit is out, so we can release a new player holding the new kit. That's obviously a bit of a stumbling block for the marketing team at Manchester United. So that hurdle's out of the way. I think the next hurdle in regards to sort of announcement of players is obviously that turn of the financial year in sort of June into July. So I think by this time next week, if we haven't signed Mason Mount, I would be surprised. But does Manchester United ever not surprise you? I'm not sure. As I said, my gut feeling at the moment, I put on Twitter the other day, and a few people disagree, and I understand the disagreement because I somewhat disagreed with my own thinking. Just my gut feeling at the moment is the Glazers aren't going. And again, all the signs lead to them selling, of course. Just a gut feeling in regards to this sale hasn't been by the book. It hasn't been normal. So a lot of people saying, oh no, this type of process, this goes like this, and that eventuates in a sale. This sign on the stock market, that suggests they're going to sell to Qatar. We've got all these things that sort of point towards a sale. This isn't the average thing. Like nothing points to anything in regards to this because it's so out of the ordinary. Glazers have done things their own way and not by the book. And I just think it's so weird and so unique. Even a lot of the business people, you read a lot of the financial reports, and they're scratching their head saying, this is not how you do business at this level. Like they're an embarrassment to everyone involved. Like there's frustration on the Rain Group's part, there's frustration on Sir Jim, there's frustration on Qatar. And we talk about threats of walking away from Mason Mount, Declan Rice, Arsenal and Manchester City. Who's to say Qatar don't say stuff this? Okay, we'll go by not Newcastle, obviously, but we'll go by Liverpool, we'll go by Arsenal, we'll go by West Ham. Maybe there's a threat from them, and you'd think these billionaires, they're serious people. They're serious people. Well, the Glazers are serious. Well, they don't act like it, but they probably financially, they're very sort of serious. So Jim, and a very astute man in Qatar, that they'll be ruthless. And I just think there could come a time if, it's probably not if they're bidden 5 times. If someone bids 5 times, they'll probably bid 10 times. So maybe they're a bit hypocritical there, but you could see a situation where Qatar say, stuff this, I'm walking away. And that'll be interesting. So my gut feeling at the moment, and again, a lot of that is sort of the pessimist in me, that the Glazers are going to stay. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? David De Gea, I'm not sure. It's weird. 6 weeks ago, he's staying. I don't see a situation where David De Gea leaves. 2 weeks ago, he's off to Saudi Arabia. I don't see a situation where he's going to stay. It's very interesting, very sort of up and down in regards to the goalkeeping situation at the moment. As things stand today, I don't know, it probably has flipped. I'm probably back to David De Gea might be staying in and around, again, what his new wage would look like, I'm not sure. Again, I think so much of the David De Gea situation, and this shouldn't be the case, but it is the case because this is how Manchester United sort of have done business over the years. I think a huge factor in the David De Gea situation is Harry Kane. Not so much Harry Kane, but our striker, let's say Harry Kane, but the number 9 position, because I think that is the priority. If you can go get that priority, but he's going to cost 100 million, I think that keeps David De Gea at Manchester United. If we can't go and get that £100 million striker and we have to go get a £30 million striker, I think that might balance the budget a little bit and allow for an Onana, a Costa to come in for 40, 50 million. And that is where De Gea's future is potentially elsewhere. So in my opinion, David De Gea's future is relying on maybe Harry Kane, which is crazy. What the hell does a Tottenham striker have to do with a Manchester United goalkeeper? But that's the way I think of it. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Who knows? Adam, here, as a player, you would not want to know who is going to own your club also. A huge part in regards to, who's got to be signing your checks. A definitely thing. Players do need to know that, and players they have a right to, they have a right to know the direction of the club. And simply Manchester United's recruitment team and Richard Arnold will go into those meetings at the moment, and they can't give an honest answer to what the direction of the club is. We can say, we're looking towards a positive future, of course, but that's a generic answer. That's not a specific answer which a player needs, which an agent needs, which a player's family needs. They need these things that are set in stone and sort of some concrete sort of backing behind it. At the moment, we simply don't know. Okay, this guy might come in and he might do this, or these people might come in and they might do this. Unfortunately, we don't know yet. Hopefully, we can let you know in 2 weeks' time. If you want to stay patient, that would be appreciated. They say, okay, we'll give you a decision in 2 weeks. Suddenly, Manchester City or Chelsea are on the phone, and they don't answer our phone in 2 weeks' time. That's how this, unfortunately, you can see this unfolding. And it's depressing. I don't mean to smile because it's not worth smiling about, but it's depressing as a Manchester United fan, knowing that stupid little things. It's obviously huge. It's $1 billion purchase, but little things like this that are potentially going to negatively impact the future of our football club, and that's what we're all here for in regards to moving forward as a club. So I'll have one last scroll through Twitter in and around the Glazers out protest, and to be honest, I am seeing nothing in and around to the footage from Old Trafford. Actually, I've got it here from this is 46 minutes ago, so not quite new, but for the Manchester Evening News. quite empty outside Old Trafford. Looks a little bit like the Etihad, to be honest. But interesting. As I said, that's about half an hour, 45 minutes ago. So I'm sure there's a few more people there. But definitely not what you would be expecting from a proper Glazers out protest. But it goes back to my initial point in regards to a Tuesday morning. I was never really going to expect anything different. Now, I was hoping for one or two people there with green and gold flags to put up on the screen. That isn't the case, though. So interesting. We'll definitely keep hold of it and on top of it. And if anything does break, Larry should be home soon, and we'll definitely go live. Hopefully there's a bit of transfer news or something. Probably not on a day they've released the kit. They probably want the kit to sort of do a lot of the marketing. They don't want to sort of put too many stories out there. Save your stories for tomorrow. Save your clicks for tomorrow. But unfortunately, as I said, I wasn't fully behind this. I was fully supportive of the protest, but I didn't see the need for it. So I'm not too sort of disappointed that the protest on face value from what I've seen so far has looked, I don't want to say failure or a flop, but of course it's not, but it's not the visual a lot of people were probably hoping for. But as I said, they probably expected, and I didn't see a huge need for it today. But I'm fully supportive of the message. And what I would say is I had discussions with one or two people as well in and around buying the kit. If you want to buy the kit, buy the kit. It's not going to make a difference in terms of we're all hypocrites. And yeah, there's no right or wrong. Obviously, I wouldn't be standing outside the Megastore with a Megastore bag chanting Glazers out. Obviously, that would look a little bit silly. But we're going to games every single week. We're a member of the club. We're buying merchandise, whatever. The Glazers, Adidas, they don't care. Like, one person buying a shirt is not going to make a difference unless 5 million people around the world made one sort of collective decision. Nothing an individual will do will have an impact. So don't feel guilty for being Glazers out and buying a shirt as well. It's not ideal, but they've put us in a situation where none of the decisions we make are ideal. That's why they need to go. But if you want to buy the kit, buy the kit. Me personally, I'm not, but that's simply just because they're too expensive. I actually like the kit, to be honest, and too expensive. And that is the thing we need to be critical of the Glazers and Adidas for. Now, obviously, every club, I'm sure they're going to have the same. I'm sure Luton are saying their kits are too expensive. That's a part of being a football fan. I think that maybe it's a government issue or a Premier League issue in and around sort of fighting that side of things. But the reason I'm not buying the kit is simply the price, way too much. But in regards to the look of it, I can see Lisandro Martinez holding up the Premier League trophy wearing that kit. I do like it, but until then, hopefully everyone did enjoy that. Apologies, Larry's not with us. If any of the news does break in an hour or two, I'm sure he will be home and he'll jump on with us. But I do appreciate all the comments in the chat, keeping me going. As I said, I'm not sort of 100% suited to doing these solo, but do appreciate everyone keeping us going and keeping the chat flowing. But hopefully everyone did enjoy that. I don't want to say apologies because I had nothing to do with it, but apologies it wasn't a more visual protest and we didn't have more sort of scenes to discuss. But it is what it is. I'm sure the fan base is unanimous in and around our message of the Glazers need to go. Was today the day to sort of kick home that message? Probably not, but it is what it is. We'll be here tomorrow with the same message. It is what it is. But Dion, do appreciate that, mate. And as I said, there are a few in the chat. On your way up, please do leave a like on the video. If you are new, hit subscribe and be notified. Hit the notification bell so we are notified when we do go live. And fingers crossed, it won't happen, but fingers crossed we do go live soon with some concrete transfer news. But until then, hope everyone has a good one and we'll chat to you soon. Cheers.